Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to Rocket City Yardstead. It is a glorious morning, and I thought maybe we'd just take a walk around the garden and see what's growing. We're still in that time of year where things are just growing so quickly, and I come out here sometimes and I'm like, man, I can't believe how much these plants have grown. So I thought you guys might like a little walk through the garden. My first zinnia of the year. Isn't she lovely? I do not have anything quite ready to plant where my lettuce is, was, I guess. It's not edible anymore, but I thought I'd show you. We are actually to the point of blooms on the lettuce. If you've never seen what a flowering lettuce looks like, it's early enough. These flowers are still closed up a little bit, but it's kind of fun to see how things propagate themselves, I think. These squash plants have just gotten very beautiful and large, and there are so many squash on here. We have eaten 4 or 5 of them, but here in no time we're going to be eating more. Oh, and I need to get some gloves out. I see squash bug eggs. Maybe I can get them just in my fingers. Squish those guys. But all of these plants have a bunch of those little baby squash on them. The dill has started to flower, at least some of it. I don't know about you guys or if it's just me. I always think they kind of remind me of a firework, but I think they're beautiful. Here we have my zucchino rampicantes. They're kind of small. I don't know if it's all the rain that we've been having or if there was just some kind of deficiency, even though I did that soil test. But so I came back and top dressed them with some trifecta, and they're starting to look a little bit better, but they're just very slow growing at the moment. You can see our onion flowers in there. They're beautiful. I like to take them in for bouquets. My basil, this is blue spice basil, has started flowering, and I need to come out here and do a nice thorough chop on the basils. But there's a couple more squash plants in here. You can see we're going to be swimming in yellow squash in no time. I need to come clean the peas off the trellis. These guys never tasted very good. I think because we got so hot, they just tasted starchy from the get-go. But below them, you can see those cucumbers I had to replant have come up. So hopefully we're going to have cucumbers in no time. Volunteer basil. Y'all, some of the cucumbers are gone. Like, they're just gone. Look. I don't know what's happening. I may have to just go buy some cucumber plants. There is a seedling, but I don't understand. Except that I see birds in here and maybe they've pecked them. My cucumbers on this side also have really struggled. I think all the rain has been a little bit too much rain. And then this is the side where we also had them get kind of smothered by the spinach that bolted. With that basil. I need to get in here and tie up tomatoes, but these guys are looking great. And look at all the blossoms. They are just surrounded by basil here. This was all volunteer basil. And the plants seem to be doing well with all this basil, so I've let it stay. I do need to pull some of this out because I have little baby zucchino rampicantes I resowed. The squash plants are, there's another one just all shriveled up and dying. I don't know what's happening, you guys. So I had problems last year as well. I ended up buying started cucumber plants because my cucumber seedlings would just disappear. And I'm thinking it must be like this where they just have shriveled up and died. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. My best guess is maybe those birds, but if you guys have thoughts on that, let me know because this is a newer problem for me. I've never had seedlings just shriveling up and dying when they were so little like this before. This is my most beautiful cucumber plant. It's doing so much better than any of the others. It is one of my Parisian pickling cucumbers. I'm really excited about these because I love gherkins. They're probably my favorite pickle. Sweet dill, I don't care. I just like the little tiny pickles that are super crunchy. And so hopefully we're going to get some off of this and be able to pickle some gherkins. When I planted my tomatoes, I had this variety called Ukrainian purple. They're kind of a paste tomato. They look like they're a paste tomato, but they're a purple variety. I was very excited about them. But all three of my starts were really little and they just hadn't thrived very well. But I thought I'll put them in the ground and hopefully they will bounce back and they'll start growing really well. They all died like within a day. They just did not take to transplanting very well, as small as they were. So I had some bonus plants and I came in and put them in. They are still very small because I only planted them a couple days ago, but I thought it was worth giving them a chance. And they were some of the varieties I'm most excited about, like black crim and pineapple. Let's see, come down here. I have this zucchini plant. It's starting to get bigger. Its leaves are growing bigger, but its stalk is still really small. You can see it here. I expect it to be much thicker. So I don't know how well it's going to do, but it does have some little zucchinis on it. So hopefully we'll get some. This looks a little bit like a jungle right here. But I have my eggplants in my cages and these guys have started putting on flowers. We have a volunteer maypop, passion vine. And look, you guys, I have one beet that started to bulb up. I don't know if I can get in here at a good angle. But my beets did not germinate well. They spread everywhere. Oh, look, there's a couple little baby beets. So my beets just didn't germinate well. And I think I've learned the problem, and I'm going to share it with you guys in case this would be helpful. But I put compost down. I did water, but then I planted. And I think I didn't water heavily enough, and the compost was still just too light and fluffy when I went to add my seeds because the seeds got washed. I don't know where they all are. Some of them may just not have germinated, but let's see. I planted here on this end of the bed, and all of the beets that did germinate in this bed are right here in this corner. But if we walk all the way down to the end by these radish flowers, there they go, right down here in the corner on the other end. So about 13 feet away, we've got baby beets where their seeds got washed down to this end. Since we're down here, let's take a look. I think the radish flowers are just so pretty. But we do have all of these radish pods on our plants. And we have been enjoying these every day in our salads for lunch. And they definitely have a kick to them. They're spicy and taste very much like a radish. So now that we looked at the beets, we can take a peek at the eggplants. They all have put on flowers and have started making baby eggplants, I hope. At some point, I will need to clean out the radishes and then we'll plant something else here. We may sow more squash seeds, but for now, it's just kind of this wild radish flower jungle, and I think it's beautiful. Our oregano is really trying to come back, and our chocolate mint is filling in nicely. Let's take a look at the tomatoes. This tomato needs to be pruned really badly. It's still very healthy, so I'm really grateful for that because I haven't pruned it. But this is a Cherokee Purple. It's one that I bought when my own Cherokee Purple seedling just failed to thrive. You can see some of our plants have gotten tall enough. We've started tying them up. Look at all the flowers. I have this one kale plant. This is a Ragged Jack kale plant. It's huge, but it has not bolted yet. And the bugs have not really gotten to it. So we have just been leaving it for now and still eat off of it. It's not as sweet as it was when the weather was cooler, but it hasn't gotten bitter yet. More tomatoes. We're getting close to being able to tie them up. And they have done what I hoped, because if you guys remember, these were kind of sad looking little starts, but everybody's doing really well now that they are in the ground. You can see here, when I harvested my cabbages, I just took the outside leaves and laid them down kind of as mulch. Here are the potatoes. They are starting to look like they might have blight to me. We are getting close to when it should be time to harvest them. And so that may be part of why they look so sad as well. If you're new here, this is the first year I've grown potatoes, and so I am by no means an expert, but I'm hoping that we're going to have a great harvest out of this little patch. Our carrots and onions are about ready to come out. You can see sort of here where there's a patch that's kind of bare except for weeds that we have been harvesting. I'm taking onions and one by one, carrots one by one in, using them in salads for lunch and things like that. But this is going to change drastically here in the next couple of weeks. I ordered some green bean seeds. They're a bush bean from Haas Tools. I've never ordered from Haas Tools before, but just the other day I saw somebody recommend a green bean variety. I think it was called Haas Blaze, and apparently it does better setting fruit in the heat. So we're going to see. I don't know if you call it fruit, but the green beans. A lot of times I have trouble here in North Alabama with the green beans just dropping their flowers when we get into the heat of the summer. And so I thought that would be fantastic if those green beans would produce while it's really hot. But I think we'll probably put them somewhere in here in this area where the carrots and the onions are coming out. Look at our bee balm, you guys. It's so tall. Let me see. I don't know if I can get in here where you can see. Comes up to about my neck, but it's covered in buds. So here in no time, we're going to have beautiful bee balm flowers. This long row of flowers we have is going to be beautiful here in no time Lots of these zinnias have buds on them already. And these are the little basils I planted. They're called a cardinal basil, I believe, that get big flowers on them. Here we go. Here's some zinnia bud. This Cosmo was a volunteer, and it is just thriving. It's so big and beautiful. Here's some more of those cardinal basils. Another zinnia bud. Oh, look, this tiny little Cosmo's putting on a flower. Oh, and you know what? This has gotta be one of the lemonade Cosmos. Y'all, look what I just picked. We've been coming out and getting just handfuls of berries every once in a while, and this one looks perfect. So perfectly ripe. And it's not a wiggly back blackberry like Jess from Roots and Refuge was talking about recently. I saw no bugs on that one. The apples on our tree are getting bigger. Let's see. I did want to show you guys the peach tree again. I filmed a little bit where I was putting that kaolin clay product on the tree. And you can see there's very little of it left here. We've just had so much rain. One of the wettest Mays ever in Alabama. We didn't quite make the record for rainfall, but there are quite a few people or places. There are quite a few places that did. But I did want to show you guys. I think it helped. We have some peaches that looks like we're actually maybe going to get some peaches. Now, this looks like some kind of fungal stuff on this peach, so I don't know if we'll actually get it or not. But I think the clay did help with some of that bug damage, even though we had so much rain and it got washed off. When I tell you, if we get 5 peaches off of this tree, that will be the biggest harvest we've ever actually gotten. I am not exaggerating. So I will take what I can get, and I'm going to be grateful for it. We'll call this a learning experience, and hopefully we won't have Mays quite so wet in the future, and we'll be able to save more of our peaches. So now we can move on to our bean trellis. They are growing beautifully. It won't be too long until I need to start training them up to the cattle panel. They're a little bit farther away than they would have been when they were in the ground, and so they'll probably take a little bit of work to start. But I've transplanted these zinnias in here. They, I think, had a little bit of transfer shock, so they have stayed small for a while, but they're starting to look like they're growing. And then, goodness, these Dutch fork pumpkins are really taking off. I started to come out and plant seeds in the couple of spots where they hadn't come up, but as you can see, we still have some germination going on. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer for this one spot here and see if it still comes up. I am so excited about these pumpkins, and I can't wait to see them fill this space out behind me. I'm going to back up and show you in case you're new what I'm talking about. So we just have this big area back here. Currently my green stock is sitting back here in pieces full of strawberry plants, but we're just planning on letting the pumpkins roam all over the place. And then also these cantaloupes are going to be permitted to just trail out of this bed and down into the big growing area. Now we can talk about the newer growing areas, I guess technically where the green beans are is a newer growing area too, but we've grown green beans there before, so sometimes it doesn't feel quite like it's brand new. There in the middle, you can see our fig tree. These little basils that I planted around it, if you were with me for that, they have not grown at all. So I came in here the other day and added some fertilizer, and I'm hoping that they're going to start taking off and getting bigger. But the fig tree looks great. In this little area here, I planted Chinese multicolor spinach, which is an amaranth. And I wasn't really sure what it looked like, so I haven't been weeding, but I think I have figured it out. We had lots of these little green things coming up, but now I have a lot of these, and their coloring is right for the Chinese amaranth. You can see all of these little guys. So I'm very excited to see it germinating, and I can start pulling those other things out now that I'm pretty sure that those are the weeds. You can see how good our pepper plants look. They've grown significantly since we planted them. So lush and green, filling in along their stems as well. And the same is true for the tomatillos. These guys look so good. And look at all of the flowers on these. We're going to have lots of tomatillos. I did find an army worm on one of these the other day, so I'm carefully looking them over every time I'm out here. But I'm just so happy with how everything is growing. These eggplants are also growing really well. They look like they might be starting to get a little bit of flea beetle damage, so I'll keep an eye on that. But otherwise, beautiful. This tomato plant has grown probably 4 or 5 times the size it was when I put it in. You can see down in here, it's covered in blossoms. I like to give them a little shake. And here's the other one. It was a little bit smaller, so it's a little bit behind, but it's also starting to put flowers on. Both of these tomatoes are a heat master tomato, and they're a determinate variety of tomatoes, which is why I have them in cages. But I bought one probably 2 or 3 years ago, just like a Bonnie plant version. And in the heat of the summer, when all of my other tomatoes were not setting fruit, these guys were. And so I bought a pack of seeds from, I can't remember where, but I got them online from a seed company. And this is the first year I've actually started these seeds. So the plants look beautiful and so healthy. I do need to come out and prune just a little bit off of these, get those lower limbs off of the ground. But otherwise, we're going to need to leave these alone because they are determinants. The rest of our eggplants and our other tomatillos. So I do want to point this out to you guys. You can see how gorgeous this plant is. And look at this plant. And then this one is also really gorgeous. I think we forgot to fertilize this one with our Trifecta Plus when we put it in, because I put Trifecta Plus in here like 2 or 3 days ago, and look at how rich and green these brand new leaves are comparatively. It's starting to look more the color of the plant next to it. So that Trifecta Plus just does a fantastic job. So we always fertilize our plants, but especially with new soil that we didn't know exactly what the nutrient density of the soil for the plants was going to be, we thought it was extra important this year. And I am definitely seeing a difference in things that have the fertilizer versus don't. And so I'm really glad that we fertilized everything. Now, what else? So I did want to tell you guys, you can't see it now, but I came in and all kind of underneath these plants, I put marigold seeds in, a dwarf variety. They say they should be blooming in like 35 days once they germinate. And they say they take about 5 days to germinate. So we should hopefully have some marigold flowers by July, maybe. Then here are the rest of our sweet peppers. They're doing really well. Here's another plant that, let's take a look at this. Just the fertilizer versus no fertilizer. I'm pretty sure we forgot to fertilize that one. And you can see how much smaller it is than the ones right next to it. It makes a big difference. Here next to my pineapple sage, I have some little baby cosmos. I'm definitely going to have to thin these out, but right now we're just going to see who does well. And in this bed, I planted a bunch of golden wax beans the other day, so here in no time we'll start seeing bean plants popping up. My loofahs still look pretty sad. Now, I will say I did not have any fertilizer to put on these when I planted them, because I normally would have put fertilizer down in the hole with them. But you can see here, I came back in top dressed and we're starting to get some beautiful, richer green leaves. This one has put some on a little bit farther up the plant. So I think now that they've been fertilized, they're going to take off. Our Waltham butternut squashes are starting to grow well. I also made sure to fertilize them. And you guys, if you watched the shopping video, I brought my new little wind chime out here and hung it up. It's really beautiful out here in the sunlight. I finally found a flat leaf parsley. I've had a hard time finding flat leaf parsleys this year. My previous one has gone to seed and it's beautiful, but not really edible anymore. Got some more little Cosmo babies coming up in this bed. These are a larger variety. I don't remember exactly which ones I planted, but they'll get pretty tall and bushy and they'll be beautiful in here. So now we can walk over to the other garden area. The zinnia I transplanted, it looks like it's doing okay. And got some cosmos here. On both sides here, I planted Georgia candy roaster squash that will climb up a trellis. We just need to get it moved. And I had tiny little basil starts. You can see this guy, he's so little, but I transplanted them out the other day. More cosmos. So I think we're going to put green beans in this bed as well to kind of match the other bed, but I haven't 100% made up my mind. The little thumbergias have not grown much. They are another thing I had to come back and top dress with fertilizer. So I'm hoping that they are going to start growing a lot now that they've been fertilized. You can see this other thumbergia, it germinated a couple weeks before the first one and it is trying to climb. So we need to get ourselves a trellis over here soon. Here's a find I got at Home Depot the other day. I'd never seen eucalyptus at our local stores before. This is a baby blue bouquet eucalyptus. My mom had commented that she would like some eucalyptus in the garden, and that happened. I had just placed my Johnny seed order. We had not even gotten seeds yet in the mail, and that's the only place that I buy seeds from that I've ever seen eucalyptus for sale. And so we just didn't want to pay that extra shipping fee. So I thought, well, we'll wait till next year. And then they had eucalyptus at Home Depot. So I went ahead and got us a plant. And hopefully it's going to thrive. But this eucalyptus is supposed to get 3 to 4 feet tall. And so I thought it would be really beautiful if we had that arch with the flowering black-eyed Susan vine and that eucalyptus in front. It's all just kind of in my head, but I'm hoping as the summer progresses, it's going to be really beautiful. There you can see our hot peppers. They're doing really well for the most part. This is another place where you can see where my fertilizer ran out as we were planting peppers. And you get to these three little guys, and they are just tiny. There's another one of those little tiny basils that I planted. I am very excited that all of my okra is up. This is the one I had to come back and replant. So it's a little bit behind, but not very far. Some of my nasturtiums came up. I came back and replanted seeds where they didn't. I had an older seed pack, and so I think maybe the seeds just weren't as viable. I think this poor little guy is, I don't know what's going on. He's looking really sad. But I did give him some more fertilizer, hoping maybe we just missed him. Because the top leaves look really good. The rest of the plants look fantastic. And then probably the biggest change since we walked through this garden together last is our other fig tree came. So this is a little ruby fig. We got it from Stark Brothers. And when it came, it didn't have any leaves. It just had little buds. You can see it's started putting on leaves. This one's quite a bit taller than our other fig tree, but it's got these leaves starting to leaf out here. So I'm very excited about this tree. And we did plant tiny little basils all around it, just like our other fig tree. We did sweet basils, and we did some sweet basils and some purple opal basils. So hopefully these are going to grow. I did fertilize them. Well, you guys, that is what the garden's looking like today. I am so excited about where it's headed. Everything is looking so beautiful. We're not harvesting just a ton right now. We're kind of in that lull between planting and harvesting, getting a little bit of yellow squash and the onions and carrots, but everything else is still just growing. We are getting flowers on the peppers, so that's great. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little stroll through the garden today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm so glad you were here, and I will see you next time. Bye.